Hey everybody, welcome to Leon's Chainsaw Parts and Repair. We're going to pick up where we left off yesterday with more saw work. Try and wrap a few things up today. This is Don's Super XL. We saw a video of it previously running, but remember the piston had a little bit of scoring in it, so Don got a hold of me last night and said go ahead and replace the piston in this broken handle. So I've got a used one. It's a little bit older, by about four years older, but it doesn't matter. It's set up for the screw-in style manual oil pump. This will be perfect. So we're going to call this a quick and dirty piston replacement. We'll see just how quick we can make it. Now I need a nail to plug that up. And that one's not coming out anytime soon. There we go. Sure. The idea is going to be replacing this cylinder with a minimal amount of parts removed. Not cylinder, piston, excuse me. That will be our goal. And we will see how it goes. I don't know, I've done this enough times. Shouldn't be bad. Biggest challenge right now is not enough space on the bench. Too many projects that are partly complete. Nasty little critter. Okay. Let's start working on this throttle handle. It's easier to get this out of the way so that you don't have to pull the spark plug boot off of the coil wire, spark plug lead, whatever you want to call it. High tension lead, I guess, is the technical best term. But even to get the throttle handle off, you don't have to pull that off in order to fish it out. You can just get it out of the way. Because the ignition has to come off since the bracket mounts to the cylinder there. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm all for saving time by not removing certain parts if it works. That's not one of those that it's going to work. Damn it, I thought I'd log that out enough. The seal between the reed block and the reed cage over time will stiffen where the screws, go through it. And there's this little lip of material that'll hang up, and if you just jam the screws in and out a couple times on the bench, you can break that hardened material out. It still seals just fine, but you don't have such a hassle getting the reed block off. See, that one's good. That one's still got something hanging up. There we go. Just the little things. Try and keep shit as easy as possible. Okay. That one's a little bit stiff. Hopefully it'll play nice in the sandbox here. Not a lot of room to get a ratchet and a socket down in there. On this side, if you really have hassle with it, you can put your screwdriver in through the choke rod hole. And this one's almost enough hassle to justify that. You want to have a round shank screwdriver for this. A square one will tear this edge up a lot more. Alright. Got to get our oil lines loose. Start outer. I'm going to have to transfer a few parts over to that handle because that one didn't have a manual oiler installed. So I've done this on camera before, but I don't know if I've ever had it in view. To get this inner one out, just roll it back only as much as you need to get the wrench on and loosen it up. You don't want to distort this line any more than you have to, because then it becomes a real pain in the ass to get lined back up and restarted. And once you cross thread one of those fittings, you're pretty much done. Now, yes, new lines are still available, but that's not the point. You don't want to have to stop your project over something stupid like that if you can avoid it. Oh, come on! Yeah. That's tore out of shape. Okay. Alright, throttle handle's off. A little bit of gobbledygook. Let's get this muffler off. Get it the heck out of the way. And there's going to be some work that has to be done. Either I'll have to find some longer fine thread screws or just replace those muffler studs, as the threads are pulled on the top here. Which isn't the greatest, but hey, it is what it is. was hoping I was going to be able to cheat, but I know better. I do indeed know better. Three of the four screws you could get to, or nuts you could get to on the cylinder. This one over here with the fuel tank in place, that just isn't going to happen. And every time I look at it, I think, God, it might. And I know it won't. So I'll just avoid that kind of irritation. One of the local DJs used to say, you just don't need that kind of frustration. And I don't need that kind of frustration. Nobody does. Plus, this will be the golden opportunity to finish the cleanup that was started on this saw. Even though it was clean in a lot of areas, God, I'm out of room. Damn it. You can see there's areas that you just couldn't get clean. Let's get that ignition out of the way. That is going to get a visit to the air hose. Oh, this has been... Oh, okay, that lead's been replaced. Oh, damn. It's a little bit of a challenge, but it'll work. Okay. Ugh. You to stay together. God damn it. Quit it. What a mess. Obviously that is going to get cleaned up. I should scrape some of that in the trash first. Alrighty. Let's get our fuel tank out of the way. Now this camera also doesn't, at least where it's at right now, doesn't show me where we're at in this. But I'm guessing 15 minutes in maybe? So it doesn't take a lot to get this thing torn down into a spot that you can start working with it. The rest of this is going to need a trip through some washing machine stuff. By that, I mean the garden hose. Yeah. Enough crap still in here that on a hot day, there might not have been sufficient airflow to prevent the fuel from boiling, which, as we know, is not a great thing. Alright. Go off camera. Get everything cleaned up, and then we'll come back. Okay, we're back. Things are clean, or clean enough. Let's get this party started. And you need as thin a profile wrench as you can reasonably get in here. This old Craftsman, well, not that old, 90s I think, fits the bill. Again, we're saving the hardest one for last. These two on the ignition side, you can technically get a socket on. But that muffler side, the way the muffler port is put together, that is an absolute not gonna happen. So you've got to have a wrench that'll fit in some way. that's why that oil line set up there. Again, I don't want to bend it any more than I absolutely have to. And the one I bent is the outside one. But that's going to need replaced anyway. That's something I hadn't previously noticed. Look at that. It was smashed on installation at some point. Just completely destroyed. So I'll have to see if I've got one of those in stock. Okay. Game's loose. Let's back this up and get all of our hardware corralled. So I've got 4 washers, 4 nuts. Okay, there we go. Okay. Yep, there is some minor scoring on the cylinder in here. But that will be okay. There's no damage at the muffler ports. So we'll be just fine here. Alright, now I'm going to save some headache. Oh. Okay, there's a retainer there. And there's the removable one. Perfect. Get that out. We'll drive that out. These pliers suck. And yes, that just shot me in the forehead. Piece of shit. Alright, let's see how much of a pain this is going to be. Oh, it's moving. No problem. Not always going to drive out that easy, and I don't know what the secret is. I don't know, honestly, why some are easier and some are not. Okay, this is one of those pistons that discolored a little bit. Let's see if its wrist pin is going to come out, and we're going to have to reuse that retainer because there wasn't one in here. Yeah, this one might be a bigger pain in the ass. It is going to be. How lucky am I? Man, that is going to be a pain in the ass. I don't need a pain in the ass this morning. Okay. Oh, this is fun. Shit. That is a risk with new old stock parts. They can be just as big of a... You guys quit it. That can be as big a pain in the ass as used parts, sometimes bigger. Yeah, I'm getting irritated. It is moving, though. Gotta get it out. Could you just quit pissing me off and come out of there? Look, asshat. God damn you. Just come out. Bastard. Alright. Freeze that pin for a minute. Hopefully that'll make reinstallation a little bit easier. We'll do WD-40 wipe on this. Some of these pistons that were produced in the early 70s, something about the aluminum, they discolor like that, just sitting in a box. I don't know why. Just do, I guess. Nothing wrong. It's gonna have good compression. Alright. Let's go ahead and do a clean on the cylinder just to be safe. Yep, she'll be alright. Okay. Now, okay, that's still there. Old piston's going to go where old pistons go. Let's go ahead and wipe anything out of there. This is a reusable cylinder gasket, and you can see that none of the material tore, so we're going to reuse it. Rod bearings look good. Wrist pin bearing looks good. Forward to back, they're tight. Side to side, that little bit, that's normal. It's forward to back in the direction of the travel of the piston. That's where you don't want slop. Alright, I'm going to let that wrist pin cool for just a second, and I'm going to see if I can find a replacement oil line. Okay, had one in stock, which is good. This setup requires you to distort things just a little bit here. Getting them on and off. Yeah, look at that. It's smashed flat. I am virtually certain that manual oil pump wouldn't have been doing a diddly squat. Okay. So you move the line back in the grommet within reason and almost get there, and then you just kind of gotta force it over. Just bend it as little as you possibly can, and then you want this to thread on easily. Cross-threaded, you should know it, because it should get tight awful quick. And you might be thinking, well, why didn't you wait until you put your cylinder and stuff back on? Could have, but we know how to work around it, and not having stuff in the way over here just is it's easier to handle. Okay, so that is good. I'm going to let that wrist pin cool just a little bit more. So let's go ahead and transfer the parts over that we need from the other throttle handle. Get these old plugs out first. Which, as you can see, it's not like they're super tight. No need. Not a lot of room between the parts and the throttle handle there, but just enough. Plunger itself. Okay, and that didn't pop just right out. So I'm going to assume those O-rings, they look pretty good. Oh yeah, there's resistance going in. This thing is screwed down a little bit. think we're working. Oh yeah. Actually, that is not. Make sure I've got, yeah. I'll be damned. Well, that's an interesting little detour. I don't know if that inlet check valve is bad, or if one of these O-rings actually isn't good. I'd say there's enough resistance there. But we'll just replace it. Just twist the spring off. With my luck, I won't have a replacement O-ring out here, and I'll have to get it from the house. Come on. Little puke. Okay. Oh, it can be a pain in the ass. Should be it. There we go. Okay. Try this again. And this time we're going to put a little fresh oil on it. Oop, wrong one, dummy. That one doesn't need anything. It's really strange. Am I smoking? No, that is the discharge right there. Did it finally get? Well, I can't tell you guys, honestly, what the hell's going on here. Doesn't appear to be anything wrong with this valve. try one thing first. Yeah, there must be something wrong with this valve. That's the inlet. God, I love wasting camera time on ridiculous stuff like this. Oh, piss off. Fucking phone. Yeah, this was supposed to be down and dirty and quick, but oh no. You know, I don't know what the hell's going on here. God dang it. These are not a complicated system. One valve closes while the other one opens. That's how it works. This shouldn't be rocket science. I shouldn't have to waste this much video footage on just a simple little replacement. Whoa. Well, there's the proof in the pudding. That valve is bad. There we go. Well, that's sucky moto. Okay. Aren't you glad we went down that little rabbit hole? Good news is that wrist pin ought to be nice and chilled now. Now we got parts even further all over everywhere. Alright. It is nice and cold. So I'm not going to hold on to it because I don't want to warm it up. So as you're doing your install, make sure that you've got your anti-rotation pins facing the ignition. And we're going to drive the solid side towards the muffler, because that's the way you do it. That way carbon can't build up in there. Well, that didn't get any easier. This is going to suck, folks. There we go. Okay. We're going to hope for the best here. May need the wood for support, maybe not. Okay. Let's get this show on the road. being enough of a pain in my ass, I'm not going to dick around with it. Let's just get you installed. Alright, it's in. And I've about had it up to here with things that don't go as smoothly as they should. Having it rocking back and forth on that crankshaft doesn't help any, but it's in. So you drive the pin in just far enough that it's at the retainer. Don't damage that retainer. And then this side it ought to slip right in. So you want your removable wrist pin retaining ring on this side, and you want the open end on this side, and you want your anti-rotation pins on this side, the ignition side. That's what you want for maximum durability. You don't want those anywhere near the muffler port. So let's get some oil circulating in here. Let's get our ring compressor on. Make sure it's lined up. Now let's see what kind of a catastrophe this can turn into. I have faith. Oil lines, I just want you, god damn it, back a little bit. Just don't piss me off. Okay, there's the first one. Second one is going to be a pain, apparently. There, I think I've got it. There we go. Get your compressor out. I'm going to roll this to the bottom of the stroke. Try and work it from there. So that gets most of the oil lines out of the way. There we go. There we go. That could be worse. Freezing that wrist pin definitely made a massive difference. That would have been a real pain in the butt. Well, it still was a real pain in the butt. It would have been a real bigger pain in the butt. Alright, so before you get too carried away, you want to get this side's nuts in place and started when you can still lift the cylinder a little bit. There's not quite enough room to get them in there when it's fully seated. Good news is going by feel there is not that difficult. I'll say this side is a slam dunk. Okay. Make sure everything is pulled down flat and not tighten anything too far until everyone is at the same spot. We know that we're not bound up on a cylinder stud, and if you guys could hear that little pop in the video, we obviously were somewhere. Not a lot, it was, you know, probably 32nd of an inch, but still. And our favorite spot right down here. extra tight or snug. So this one, I'm going to give the final treatment. And it's hard to get to, so you can't use the box end. If you wanted to, you'd have to grind a wrench down. I'll settle for just distorting those fuel or oil lines a little bit. Okay, hard part's passed. Okay, so you want your lines arranged so that they're doing that. You want the discharge line, which is the inner one. It sits in a groove between the cylinder and the drive case, and then should be just routed right along there. This one ideally is straight under the muffler and out to the back. So, let me grab a few parts. Those, gonna get a little dab of Loctite. Come on, Dinkleberry. Reinstall our ignition. Yeah, just forgot our felt washer. This screw's going to be ass. So repaired ignition lead. Okay. Okay. Roll this up to top dead center. points gap's not quite right. Which means I've got the coil bracket in a slightly different spot than the way it came off. Okay. And they close and open, as they should. Just because I'm going to put the flywheel back on and check our spark. I don't want any drama around this. Prefer not to tear a finger up doing that. Good to me. Pretty damned good indeed. That's rolling over nice and smooth. Granted, the assembly oil's in there, but I can feel the difference in compression, so that's exactly what we want. 100% exactly what we want. Alright. Should be good to go. Fish our ignition lead up into its little clip. Should be close to what we want. Oop. That was a little off. Go with that. And then you've got to make sure that you get these nuts, at least the inner one, up where it needs to be. So as you're rehooking it, you should get to it. Alright, so I'm trying not to put my head down and block the damn camera. I know that happens sometimes, but I've got to be able to see what the heck it is I'm doing. So I'm paying for bending that right now. I've got to get this to... Damn. Get this to start. This is not the fun part of the project. You miserable shitbird. Alright. So ideally, it'll come together and you'll be able to start it by hand. Which I can see is not happening, as this is distorted. You gotta have them line up straight on. It's not gonna go. The mood for fighting with you, and I also changed that valve. So that's part of this equation, is it needs to be at the right up and down angle, which it apparently isn't yet. I think I'm started. No. Come on. on, you. God dang it. Maybe that got it. Yep, that got it. So you gotta go by feel. And if it doesn't feel like it's going on, don't force it. You will regret it. Now, I did forget to pull this lower. Gotta get that out of the way. That would make it impossible to mount up. That's what's left of that old mounting tab. Alright. So that should roll into place. Now we're going to get this outer one, which should be... Okay, I don't think we missed a whole lot there. My hope of getting this done on one batch of memory card was dashed by, well, I guess a number of things. So let's just keep on going. This spot, if you've repainted your saw or you're putting NOS parts on, you don't want to bar up the paint. And be real careful here, because you don't have a lot of throw for the wrench. Okay. Let's get this thing secured. Start with this bottom one. I'm not going to go all the way. You don't want that one tight until you've got these up here in place. It's easiest to get everything aligned with one of the top ones. Then all the rest ought to go in without too much drama. At least that's our theory. Now, threads must be rough on the actual crankcase. But not rough enough for me to do something different. Come on, baby. All right. Now we're cooking. Okay. Yippee-ki-yay! Oiler works. Very good. Very good. Alright. I want to get our carburetor installed. Seal up this fuel system. I gotta get that hose through this grommet. Without too much horse manure, with any luck. Come on, you. What part of without horse manure did you miss? Damn it. Well, piss up a rope. I should have left enough extra. One more angle cut's not going to make that hose too short. I feel about fighting this thing, not like I feel like having a root canal. You know, it's amazing how the little stupid shit can make these videos run so much longer than they need to. And I would say that this qualifies as little stupid shit. Alright. Let's quit screwing around here. The reed valve gasket, or block gasket, whatever you want to call it back here, is still good. That's stuck to the throttle handle. Very seldom do those actually tear and go bad. Just one side effect of the gasket material that sticks to the throttle handle and just doesn't come off. And I'm okay with that. It's one less gasket you got to align and worry about having it fall off. Yeah, there must be some rough threads actually in some of the parts here. Not gold or anything, just a little bit beyond being able to turn anything by hand. Alright, before you get the carb tightened down, it's a lot easier to get your high-low grommet in place if it is installed while the carb is a little bit loose. Okay, clamp our choke rod. I suppose I'm not going to be able to. There it is. Huh, I'm surprised. Figured that cotter pin was long gone. God damn it. Tell you, when some of these saw repairs are done, this bench is getting scoured. Okay, we are good there. Deal with our muffler. Found some longer screws, so I think these studs will work. Find out real quick. Alright, so that new oil line is actually hitting the muffler just a little bit. Bend it out of the way. There we go. Okay. Problemo solved. There. So we don't have a whole lot else to do. We need to get the spark plug in, get the throttle handle installed, get the starter installed, or not throttle, excuse me, main handle. Come on, baby. There we go. Keep that away from the muffler. We'll do the starter first since we already have the handle off, which makes it that much easier to get to this one lower corner screw. Don't forget to hook your kill switch. Oh. Yeah, we need to get our flywheel screen on. Sure glad I put that there. Okay. Good enough. I didn't have a cap tight earlier. That was a strategic error. Pretty sure I've already replaced the duckbill valve in that cab. Oh. I didn't hook up the freaking fuel hose. No effing wonder. That was a stupid move. Alright. Still fuel in it. I'm questioning though. Oh, there we go. Where the hell did the air filter? Can't wait to get that 240 off the bench. Try and get it done with and dealt with and gone. Nothing wrong with it, just one of those things that I thought I ordered enough stuff and then I didn't, and now it's sitting around waiting for parts. It's sitting around in my way. Alright. Let's take a listen to what this thing sounds like with a fresh piston. Should be great. I can complain too much about that. Not too much at all. Alright. We're good to go. This thing is done. Sprocket's got some wear, but it's not enough to replace just yet. Plus, this will be easy down the road. Just spin that nut off. Standard rotation. New drum. Boom. No problems at all. So, Don, you have yourself a refreshed and good running Homelite Super XL.